Do not look at the fuzz! Look at the soul! I wasn't always a 3-foot furball with a squeaky voice. I was a count. I had lands. I had dignity. Then I lost one bet with a warlock involving a rubber chicken and a solar eclipse, and poof! Now I look like a plush toy reject. It's humiliating.
Greetings. In this video, I'm going to go through some of the steps you can use to recreate this bat-like imp character, Barnaby. The finished character is part of a Stylized vampire pack I'm working on with Vivid Mesh Studio, which will be released around the time this video is published. This version won't be quite as polished as the content pack version, but those who follow along will be able to understand most of the workflow. The main differences will be in the expressions, texturing, and asset creation, which take more time than this video can adequately cover. I'll dive right in by loading up the HD base mesh. From there, I'll start to rough out the proportions I want using the proportion editor. This allows me to scale the bones, which acts as a sort of mini morph adjuster. Once I have a solid start on my character, I'll send him over using the Gobi morph edit function at Subd2. Since the character is already mostly there in terms of proportions, I can just start at the highest resolution available to sculpt and stretch out the features. Note, you have to subdivide in Character Creator at the highest level you want to send over. I sent it over at Subd2, but since I only had one subdivision level created, it only sent it over at Subd1. But that's no problem. I will bring the character to a certain level with Subd1 and do a higher resolution pass later. This phase will take the majority of the effort, but it's not as difficult as you might think. I'm mostly using my mouse and keyboard along with the grab brush. I'm not afraid of messing up the eyes and other details too much because I can easily swap out the correct versions later after I re-import the character. If you want to restrict your sculpting details to certain areas, consider using the auto masking functions, the masking functions, in conjunction with the assign face sets. These are very powerful tools that can make your life a lot easier. Once the character is at a sufficient point, I'll send him back to Character Creator using the GoCC function. Because this is a morph editing session, the character will be sent back as a character morph rather than a complete avatar. I'll take this opportunity to edit the proportions of the character to better suit the character design I'm aiming for. Now I'll subdivide the character and send it back over at Subd2 for more detailed sculpting. Here I'm selecting the nail mesh and creating face sets, then using the auto masking function to better give him longer nails. Now for the wings. I'll create a simple plane, then shape it into a bat wing, subdivide it and add detail, shape it again, then mirror to the other side and UV unwrap so that I can add texture detail. After UV unwrapping, I'll create a texture for the color channel and do some quick texture painting. I'm going to add very basic textures for this particular demonstration, as this is not a texturing video. Each component of this video can be slowed and broken down into a much more detailed process. With the wings created, I'll save them as an FBX accessory. If this was a full avatar and not a morph, I could rig them here and send the character back with the wings. However, this is a slightly different workflow. Now I will send the morph back using the GoCC function. Once the morph data is transferred, I'll do some slight cleanup tasks, like adjust the eye and teeth placement. Then I'll give him some quick color. I'm also going to give him some fangs using the edit mesh tools. I'll now throw a skin preset on him that I have in my content inventory. This goblin character will do nicely. I just want to give him a material and texture base, which I can make edits to. Also, it's often preferable to switch to a PBR setting for this type of character. I envision this character as having a very fine fur or fuzz material very close to his skin. Since this is somewhat of a toon character, I feel the best way I can achieve this is by hinting at the colors through skin textures. I would usually recommend doing this through a dedicated 3D texturing application. Blender is good. I'd also recommend 3D Code or Marmoset Toolbag. And now I'll quickly bring in the wings as an accessory and weight them to the character. This is done by using the transfer skin weights option. Finally, I'll give him an eye material preset, change the iris to red, and equip him with a top hat and bow tie that I created for the official version of the character. And there you have it. While this version is not equal to the pack version of the character, due to the compressed timeline, I hope you can get an idea of the general workflow required to create such a character, and maybe try your own. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out Vivid Mesh Studio when the pack drops.